Hello, hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing out there?
Hello.
Hello, hello. I'm just setting up here. I'm just getting myself going for the day. This is one of my practices, is just to have communication, open dialogue and communication about things of love, things of nature, things of energy, things of healing, things uh, of sharing and relationships. I like to do this for my energy. I find it selfishly very rising for my energy. It is the best thing for my health. I find it to be the best thing for my health is actually to help others to be healthy.
Hmm.
I've made a commitment to every Saturday making myself available to help others be healthy and well. And my method of health and wellness will be love. And that will be what I'll define that as balancing the two energies that are here and within every single one of us. Coming to peace and making peace with that masculine and feminine energy within every single one of us that makes us happy, healthy, and well, right? This is what makes us happy, healthy, and well. Finding balance, finding harmony. It's not about elimination of anything. It's not about you can't do this and you can't do that. This is the problem because you're thinking like that.
Yeah,
You,
yeah.
you can do anything that you want to.
I love that.
You
Freedom.
just may find that you may not choose that you want to as much anymore. You, you just may find you evolve as you move through the path. But the path is a result. The path is a result. The feeling is a result. The human is an outcome of what it is that they do, what they think and they say and they do determines what the human is and how the human is and how the human feels. And the human has this type of control here. We live in heaven. We live in heaven, a place where you have control to create what you want out of your life, to create health and wellness and joy and happiness and love and peace and friendship and community. Or you can also, if you want, your choice, you can practice lack and limitation and fear and loss. And you can practice either one. And whatever you practice most often will create you and the result of you and what comes of you and what becomes of you in your life. That's what natural health is about. And that's what natural health is for me. And that's what I'm committed to doing and talking about on Saturday afternoons. That's what I'm coming here to do. So I'm just making sure that I'm letting everybody know. I'm just trying to be transparent about what type of conversation I want to have today with everyone. And I want to be authentic and say that I am not, the chairman of the board here.
Chairman John.
That there is an energy here that is above all of this, and that is what we're here to honor, this energy. There is a oneness. There's a oneness, and we have to have opportunities to meet others who are finding it and finding themselves along the way and getting confused, because it's a very confusing information to get and then to try to carry out into the world with, because you're not going to hear it elsewhere. So you're going to get a lot of confusing messages and a lot of negative messages when you try to bring it out into your world. And then you're going to be closed off again, closed off from this power that you have, that every single one of us has. And then we lose it again, and we lose belief in it again, right? And so we need a community so that we can come together and have a place to talk again and recharge ourselves again and support each other. And this is what I'm trying to build here. It's a support group for me. I'm going to do this every Saturday, so I'm going to do it anyways. So if you haven't got anything to do, then come and hang out with me, because I'd be happy to talk with you for an hour or two. I'm always going to try to invite one of my friends that I've met along my way, because I've met some really wonderful people along my way. And I just try to invite them to come and share, because if I've met them and I like them and they've inspired me and they've helped me along my way by being a light to me and for me, then I want to make sure that I call on them to speak to my friends and share with my friends. So this is what I do on Saturday afternoon. And then on Sunday morning, I like to exercise. My life has been about building my body. So my body is my temple. And so Sunday, I like to go to church. So Sunday morning, I like to come to movement and breath and mindset and feeling and heart and imagination. Right? So let's come together and practice these things on Sunday morning. I'm going to do it anyways. And I love to have people do it along with me, because it's inspirational to me and for me. And when I'm in a group of more people, I feel like I get a community energy. I feel an energy that I get from you if you come and join. And if I hear you, it sounds even
Self-bastard.
Inspiring. So I love to hear your comments, and I love to get your likes, and I love to get your dialogue and hear what you have to think and say about, because what I learned along my way is that the way actually to heal is to actually speak about it, like to speak it out. And sometimes it doesn't want to come out. You're like, you don't want to say anything, but it's the best thing to do is actually to share it out. This is how it begins to move through your body and your life. You just have to say it. You have to say it. And if it helps you to say it to someone else that's saying it, I've said it. I've broken myself. I lived a life where I broke myself, thinking that happiness was something I had to get, and not realizing it was something that was inside of me that I had to let out of me. And I had to get the things out of the way so that it could come out of me. So it was a different thought, a twist on nutrition, a different shift. Like we were taught nutrition, the human went to school to learn how to eat. He's the only one that needs this. Every other animal on the planet knows what to eat except for us. We have to go to school to learn how many grams of things we need to have. This idea is a part of the problem. This idea, we have to slowly let it come down. And the way to let it come down is to recognize that the human is not just this physical body. And you can see, it's very easy to see, because if the body dies, The body will still be here. And you will be gone. So you're not the body. You're not the physical structure. So you are what you eat. You try to eat the meat to make your body is the idea, but you are not the meat suit.
Not the bones.
Not the bones. No, the human is more than the flesh. The human is not only the mind even. The human is not only the thought. He's not the thing. He's not just a thinker. That's what he's thinking, because he can change his mind. So obviously he's not just the mind either, or what he thinks or what he's been thinking up to this point. So the human is something more than the thoughts, and the human is something more than the body. And I want to introduce another idea, because the human is, also the energy, and we need to bring in the metaphysics a little bit here and say that the human at the cellular structure level is molecules and atoms. And atoms are protons and electrons and neutrons. And electrons spin about their protons like they just love them. And they just spin about them. And they keep falling over them indefinitely, forever. Forever. It's called free energy. It doesn't need any food. It just does it. And this is a part of the human structure. And that is an infinite energy that is an aspect of you. And yes, you have been told that you are sustained by food, by these grams of proteins. But consider that without those grams of proteins, you could go 3 months or 3 years without food, and you would still be here alive. And you couldn't go 3 weeks without water.
Most people anyway. So yeah, we won't get into that.
And you couldn't go 3 minutes without air. So what truly sustains the human? What is truly the nourishment of the human? And where do we need to bring our true focus to and not be misled any longer? And see how we have been misled and forgive. And make a better decision now. Begin to make a better decision, because you have a better understanding, or a new understanding growing inside of you. And it grows through conversation and dialogue, understanding, sharing. And that's what we're doing here today, is we're coming together to share. And we're coming together first of all and foremost just to honor that breath and the moment, to honor now, to honor the present, to honor the power that is here amongst us, because when two or more come together, there I be. So there is power here. And we gratefully acknowledge this. And we're going to do this first just with some community breath. Just all of us together, tuning into the energy within ourselves. Because we all have connection to that infinite energy. And we're all going to connect to it together now and begin by letting all go into now. And we're just coming together now with intentions of love and intentions of healing, intentions of sharing, intentions of community, intentions of creation. Let's just breathe 5 or 10 breaths just with these affirmations in mind while we breathe together to start today. And each in breath and out breath is really a moment. And so we just had some moments together and we've just come with intention. I want to introduce my real good friend. I've never met him in person, but he's become my friend over the last 6 months, I think. I really love this guy. I really love this guy.
Giving you kisses. I kissed my phone twice there.
Let me throw on my glasses just to read this little thing that he's going to be talking about 7 things, I think, today, which is wonderful. I really like that he's narrowed it down to 7 things. I really like that a lot.
7 is my birthday as well, actually, come to think about it. 7th of January.
He's going to be talking about, his passion. I asked him to speak about his passion. Becoming our higher self in the flesh before we die, which we can do. The simple guide to whether we're on the right track to do this or not. Actualizing higher vibrations of unconditional love and unconditional kindness. Life lessons, non-aligned thinking and self-healing from past traumas. Overcoming limiting blocks to our natural high vibe emotional well-being state and energy. Letting go of anything heavy and dense that holds us back or down, including shadow work, emotional work, healing triggers, limiting beliefs, thoughts, diet, and lifestyle. Understanding our purpose and different life paths. Dealing with change, loss, and breakups. And number 7, preparing for and creating your higher vibe soulmate type relationship. And he just ripped it together in the bathtub while he was getting ready.
Yeah, that's it, John.
Owen Fox, ladies and gentlemen, this is a wonderful human being.
Thanks, John. Love you, brother. Delighted to be here. Very happy. Lovely guy. I love you too, bro. Happy to be your friend. and I'm really happy to join everyone else in the call. I love your introduction to me. You shared on Facebook. I love the little videos you make in preparation or in promotion, preparation, and building up to this joyful, celebrative event of us all gathering here today, co-creating and mingling and hanging out, spending some nice time. And I loved your introduction. Like most of all, I right now, I just really loved your introduction so much. Like such a good introducer you are. Like I just loved what you said. Like so grounded and spiritual, totally woven into one. Beautiful, love it. Gorgeous tapestry. Honestly, like it's the only video I've watched all day. I haven't watched. I've been busy with my family. I have children. I'm a family man. I have a wife. So you know, time is busy. I'm spent with the family. So I don't watch too many videos like these days. I used to like watch so many like videos and so much reading about the spiritual kind when I had time, when I was more like single. But then life changed, as you know, when you have like children or babies, like so that and or a wife or a relationship as well. But I have to say, for how I don't listen to too much stuff, I do more reading sometimes. But for someone who hasn't really listened to many YouTube videos per se, I usually read the description of what's like said in the video, like the manuscript or whatever you call it. But I just really, really enjoyed your introduction. It's just lovely. I really agree with you so much. Like just coming together as healing, to make it grow in your life, just like talk about it, you think about it, you share it with others, you potentially teach others. And there's a stronger energy when you get together in a group. I love that. And I really agree with you as well. Yeah. So pleasure and honor to be here and to be your friend as well. You know, we're budding friends. We're friends, like we are friends, but it's growing and it's budding and it's near the beginning. So it's beautiful. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
And that was funny. Yeah. Did you say anything there?
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
I just thought I'd come to the beach, you know, because I was going to go to the forest, and sometimes I do some of my calls if I have any like people to help. I might go to the forest, but the forest is darker, and I love the expanse, the open expanse of the beach.
Oh, it's gorgeous, man. It's gorgeous, brother.
Yeah, this is like the sunny east coast, Wexford, Ireland. So hi from Ireland, everybody. Hi, everyone watching and joining us. Past, present, future. Yeah, it's really nice, you know, like it's only 5 minutes drive from my home. I just love light and space, you know, and I think I wrote in point number 1 of the 7, like part of point number 1 or 2 is to becoming our higher self, like in the flesh. Like we don't have to die to let go of all the heaviness that holds us down and holds us back. That will happen. I've heard quite a few times now from people with near-death experiences, or you know, people who've maybe passed on and maybe a medium is contacting them, etc. You know. But like I have heard, we can like do that while we're still alive. We don't have to like suffer and live in our ego till we die, like all of our life. Like that was the old age. We're in a new age now. Everything is here for us to learn and to let go of, and to allow in the new. Like what you said, you used to think it was about gaining and accumulation and gathering information and knowledge. That's part of it. But a more powerful part is letting go of the blocks, because then when you let go, the space opens, and then the goodness flows in, comes to us from the space we've created by letting go of the thing that was there that wasn't serving us, you know. So yeah, that's it. So yeah, it's about lightness. So for me, like I suppose to talk about myself, you know, like my name's Owen Fox, human being, divine being of love, light, and joy, divinity. Like everyone here, like everyone in the world, every plant, animal, insect, rock, maybe rocks, I don't know 100% how divine love, light, joy beings they are, but humans are anyway, and I know animals are. Some people might say animals are a higher vibration and a higher frequency than us. They do embody unconditional love and very high frequencies in general. Usually often they're the healer in the home. In a troubled family, often the animals are the people who help maintain and sustain or give healing energy. and beautiful, beautiful, like sort of camaraderie and loyalty and unconditional love, healing energy. And as I've grown up in my life, like I've gone through so many different tests and challenges. I've gone through hard ones as well, like, you know, for sure, like so many of us, especially people probably for sure listening to this, I'm sure you've had like a hard time in life, which is good for our expansion. You know, it's not like a bad thing, essentially, it's just uncomfortable. So one thing I've been learning lately is like, and I'll get to the points in a second, because I would like to kind of continue the little form of structure. Usually I'm so structureless, it's crazy. I'm like really in the flow kind of. But yeah, I guess we don't grow and expand until we are in a sense of discomfort. Even detoxification physically is where it's uncomfortable. It's not pleasant. It's not a lot of fun. It's uncomfortable. I don't like detoxing physically. On a deeper level, it's positive. It serves a purpose. I like that, but it's not pleasant and comfortable. Yeah, you've gone through some detox lately, John, haven't you? I think.
There's some uncomfortable parts. That's okay.
Yeah. So before we become kick-ass better than we used to be, but not in the sense of better as in like judgments, like we're not more valuable or more worthy or nothing like that. But as we expand into a higher version of ourselves, a higher type of frequency, a more actualized of who we truly are. We're the divine being of joy, infinite love, joy, unconditional kindness, non-attached kindness, giving, shining our light like the sun, you know, a being of lightness. That's what I wanted to say at the beginning about point number one. I don't think I put it in this description, but we are beings of light as well as love and joy. And what is it to feel light? Our body doesn't feel heavy. It feels pretty light, pretty energetic. But more importantly, I wanted to say emotionally, we feel light or lighter. And it's lovely to feel emotionally light. When I feel light, like I'm more likely to be playful, in a good mood, having fun, cheerful, jokey, creative, spontaneous, like I won't say impulsive, but impulsive to a certain integral, responsible degree where I can follow my joy and share joy with others. So beings of light, I love the word light, and I do love light itself on the planet, like the sun. Right now I'm in a lot of light, thankfully. And yeah, the other thing, apart from emotional discomfort that happens before great expansion and positive like well-being, greater well-being than ever before, there's also emotional discomfort. And emotional discomfort only comes when we get challenged in life significantly enough. When everything's going away and it's all hunky-dory, that's wonderful. It's a time to enjoy. But as an evolving soul coming to Earth, we will be challenged. And it's important to have the recognition and the perspective of developing a certain degree of okayness or comfortability with being uncomfortable temporarily. So that's why one of my last points I wouldn't mind touching upon if we have time today is about breakups, losses, and breakups and losses, that type of stuff, you know, and just being uncomfortable or challenged. So the other,
don't worry about your time, please, at all, brother. Just please speak freely, and we'll just work through everything. And I understand that, you know, I've asked you to try and pull something that's very big and put it down into a formula and speak about it in a very structured way. And I appreciate that you're making the time to break.
And I love being here, John. I love it. So I'm very happy to be here with you and other people who are watching. Like I'm joyful to share the space with you and come together, you know, and look at you and listen to you and share thoughts with you and anyone listening.
So feel free, brother. Feel free. Let's work through this and talk about it and build communication into the whole thing. So that anyone
I love that.
Also will ask questions and add comments and make this two-way as we go.
Pleasure. And I'm so happy that you're also like thinking of other people, because people need like help or support or community. And the fact that you do this every Saturday, you're really providing extremely valuable service, like to people who are maybe in need of a little bit of like love and support and tenderness in their life. They could be going through big, hard challenges or losses, you know, and that's really tough. I've been there, and thankfully I've had like my mom or sometimes a really good friend around. But sometimes it's like we don't always have that, and we might want to look online for loving beings who are able to be kind and friendly and supportive to us, you know. So yeah, just, I know you're doing the same thing. We're just passing it on. So yeah, should I get on to the points, John? Anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, go ahead, please, brother. Please
cool.
Get into your points freely.
Awesome, bro. So yeah, I had a hard past, like so many people watching, and so many souls who are going to awaken reasonably early in life, or even later in life. It doesn't really matter. Right now, I'm at the highest point in my life in terms of clarity and emotional well-being, mental and emotional, spiritual and creative well-being, and relational well-being. I won't say I'm necessarily the fittest or strongest I've ever been, because that's definitely not the case, because I went through a big trauma when I was early 20s, but I'm recovered significantly, and I'm nice. I'm good. I'm pretty healthy, you know. I'm fit and nimble and all that sort of stuff, you know. It doesn't really matter to me. I know I'm not my body, but I love my body. So this is about, like, what I kind of want to share is basically about spiritual, mental, emotional, and creative and interpersonal prosperity and well-being. Basically speaking, knowing you're a spirit or soul or source energy, and so, but being that in the body and using your body as a vessel or a vehicle to express who you are as a divine being of love and light and joy. Okay,
the wholeness, brother.
Yeah, and participating in physical life to the full too. Nothing about like the physical body's worse or the body's less than. Nothing along those lines. It's a divine expression, like you know and agree with, John, as well.
That's it.
Yeah,
free expression of the divine inside of us.
So that was basically part one that I wrote, that I just like put off the top of my head when I was in the bath like an hour ago, because I just remembered you asked me to do some pints, and I said, I better go back in his messages. So I did. Yeah. So then leads me on to part two. I love your giggles. Giggly man. So yeah, part two was about like a simple way to recognize if you're going closer to being your higher self or your divine self, or further away from your higher self and divine self. You probably know this, but I'm sure you do. Of course you know this. But anyway, what it is our emotions are our indicator to whether or not we're in alignment or in correlation with divinity or source energy, or because what divinity or source energy or we are as souls is, like I said earlier, like unconditional love and peace, inner peace, joy. We're loving, peaceful, kind, natured beings. So if you do something that's like mean or like nasty or like, you know, hurtful to other people, when we're somewhat aware and we're not sort of like really, really sick and narcissistic type of, really sort of sick, you could call it, or really out of alignment deeply and very heavily, usually when we do things like that, for nearly everybody, it's distinctively that we'll end up actually feeling bad. So our emotions will tell us with some sort of a feeling. It could be like feeling sad, feeling sorry, feeling regretful, feeling shame, like just feeling like guilty, or just feeling like we made a mistake or something was wrong, something was amiss, we did something that doesn't really reflect who we really want to be. Like, so in the moment, sometimes when we get caught up in our ego, or we get caught up in pain that's arising from us, we may punch like let's say we punch somebody, we get into a street fight, or I don't know, like we call someone a criticism or a name, like a put down. And yeah, I'm like, I haven't been in many street fights lately, and I don't know if you have been, John, during your walks with Yoda, the dog. But yeah, but we are just human. We're becoming our higher self. It's not like we are spirit source energy beings, like totally 100% embodied, like in full actualization and full living. Like me and you and everyone else, we're going to make little like mistakes or trip ups or little falls along the way, just like a toddler, right? So that's okay. We're not going to beat ourselves up. We're not going to like shout at a toddler like, how dare you, you nimwit? You know, so we don't have to talk this way to us. And even if we do talk this way to us, that's actually another sign our emotions will still guide us if that's in a thought in alignment with our higher self, our truth, the trueness of who we truly are. Because if we start like name calling ourselves and like negative like thoughts about ourselves, you're worthless, you piece of it, you piece of whatever, like you're dumb, like loads of these names, it's just not going to feel good. It's like it's an indicator. So whereas if we start saying you're beautiful, I love you, you're gorgeous, you're amazing, you're kind, you're generous, you're friendly, we can say this to ourselves, to our children, to other people.
You're a master of this, brother. This is what I love about you. You have brought me up so many times with this type of chatter. You come on and you say such nice things to me. How am I to not, be inspired by that and motivated by that? That is so nice. And it teaches me how I should speak to my wife and to my children. Like just by you being you and saying these things, you know how important it is for those messages of each other to be shared with one another.
Absolutely. Yeah, and even though my ego like might love to think like, hey, I did that, I made it up. I didn't make it up. I learned that, like, I kind of learned the whole thing I'm talking about predominantly from Abraham. Okay, Abraham Hicks, Abraham. And I also learned the final thing you just mentioned about speaking words like to be verb words like you are, like you are divine, you are infinite, you are beautiful, like you are caring, you are protective, you're very protective. Like I've used the whole you are protective thing recently with my kid, and I speak a lot of these words to, like, especially to one of my kids, but to two of them as well, and more to my partner lately, because I learned this recently from, I think it's called Ivo of Vega. It's like a YouTube channel, okay? So I started practicing it in around like 2 or 3 weeks ago only, 2 weeks ago maybe. But it just felt so good. Like, again, as my emotions are saying, that's my guide. This feels perfect. This feels proper and right. It feels true. It's like, it's who I am to say this. Like, it's not a fake or a joke. It's not like I'm pretending this and I don't mean it. Like, I mean it from the bottom of my heart and the top of my spirit, like an eagle flying, to say these words. Like, I mean it. And like, for example, one of my kids were like, the other day was like, let's say, like, they're sort of, and sometimes when kids or your partner or like, or even us, like people, let's say there's a little bit of an argument, or there's like people like sort of like joining forces.
Yes.
So one of my children, all right, was being protective of their mother, and I in the past I'd get triggered. It would bring up a wound in me, and I might get like sort of defensive with my words, or like somewhat critical in my words, kind of like not too critical necessarily, because I've done that in the past. Like, I've done criticism. Okay, I've done that. Yeah. I'm now saying, but in more recent times, I'm a bit more like, sort of like, leave me alone, or like, leave my body alone, please, like that type of thing. Like, try and hit me with a balloon or something like that. But sometimes, like, if things go astray a little bit in your own personal life, in a little bit of a emotional, heated conversation, or past wounds come up. In the past, I just realized, like, so I'd say to the kids, like, you're very protective. It's like the best I could muster. Like, but it worked. It was good. It felt proper. Yeah, he's being protective. So that was a good thing for me to say. And
so you're able to identify what it was that he was doing rather than reacting to what he was doing. So you could actually vocalize what he was doing. So you see that, with practice, you start to be able to catch yourself in the act. And that's what it is that you're practicing presence. Presence is the breath. Every moment is a breath. When you start to slow yourself down to your in and out breath, and you start to practice that, you start to become more aware of what is going on inside of your body, inside of your mind, in each moment. As you start to practice and rehearse that, That's a self-awareness. That's a self-mastery. And then you start to be able to capture and see what's actually happening around you rather than reacting to what is happening around you. So that gives you a little moment, a stimulus response moment where you can change life.
Big time.
Life is only changed in the present, ever. The past is gone. The future only comes from what you make now. And your now is your in and your out breath. That's your now. What are you thinking while you breathe? That's your now. Are you thinking about heaven or are you thinking about your hell? What are you creating? What are you creating right now?
That's beautiful. Perfectly said, John. So yeah, it's all about now. It's about creating our life and our present moment, our future. And we do that, like I was just saying, to keep on track with that idea. We do it by, for me, it's realizing how I'm feeling. For me, that's basically the number one step. How am I feeling? And am I feeling good or bad? So you can split it in two. It's either one or the other. It's two options. It's pretty easy which way you're going, left or right. Are you feeling good or bad? And if I'm feeling bad, what I've learned is part of maturity or part of me becoming, like, whatever word you want to use, like more self-actualized, like more embodying my true self, living out of love and kindness. What I need to do is recognize I feel maybe bad or an emotion has come up and it's being felt in my body, and just be okay with feeling bad. It's about, like, some people call it emotional maturity. Like, I'm okay, I feel like shit, or I feel crap, or something's risen in me really strongly, or even medium, or even minorly. But I'm not going to just, like, take quick words and lash out at anyone or react. The same old thing I always did that created the same old results of conflict and disconnection, hurt and pain. The cycle of hurt and pain within people and relationships. Even strangers, anyone. It could be a stranger, it could be your wife, your husband, your child. It's so important to recognize this with our children. Like, you see, when we talk about a spiritual concept, it will spill out. When we change ourselves, it'll spill over towards our children in the exact same way you mentioned earlier, John. So it doesn't have to be specific. Like, we could talk about specific topics, but I guess we're talking about a bit of everything. Is kind of the root cause. And the root cause of everything is, are we acting and are we thinking correct, aligned or non-aligned? Are we feeling good or bad? And are we then speaking good or bad, or aligned or unaligned, whatever way you want to cause it? And if we think, feel, and speak and act in alignment with our true self, we're going to, like, feel good and create amazing things. That's the truth of the matter. So this is what I'm learning. This is why I'm here. This is what I'm here to share. Let's just try and share with you all. It's such a powerful concept. You can learn all these different, like, for me, it's the greatest tool or thing I've ever, like, you can call it whatever you want, but it's the greatest thing I've ever had the opportunity to be through practice, through learning it. So I'm sort of sharing it with any viewer. Now you can practice it and realize it and be it for yourself and feel how amazing it feels to get through all the rubbish or the blocks or the little, like, the little things inside of us that we've picked up along the way that make us feel held back and held down, heavy and dense, and maybe even dark. Because we want to allow the light in, and we want to feel awesome in life and make life a beautiful, beautiful discovery and co-creative and creative expression of who we truly are, or we can create unconsciously not who we truly are, which won't be a lot of fun. But we can create beautiful stuff and live in far greater joy. That's where I am these days, living in true love. And speaking what you're saying there, John, like, I've had so much practice of this whole trigger thing and emotions and reactions. I've had so much practice, like, pretty high level. So these days, like, when a lower level challenge comes along, I'm like, that's easy almost, or it's like pretty easy or easy, or even depending if it's like a medium level challenge, it could be like takes a bit of effort. But when you have a really high level, like when you have so much triggers and like emotional detox and looking at your own reactivity and slowly and gradually constantly practicing and working on your own reactivity, you kind of like, I was going to say you kind of get the hang of it in a way, but because in the past I thought I got the hang of it, but I go sliding back down, it's so funny. So it's like, that's because I got more trauma than I realized. More.
As soon as we know, though, right? As soon as you know, you've lost it. Because we have to recognize that we are talking about something that is always renewing itself in the moment. And so needs moment to moment recalibration and reconnection with, right? So yes, but then you got to know again, and you've got to know again, and you've got to know again. So it's a practice. It's a practice that you develop over time. Like it's not a you go to a retreat and then you just get one idea. Even if you hear the idea, it's to meditate on the idea for a period of time that the mind starts to actually be able to actualize that in real time, and then pull yourself out of the situation, make an alternative decision the other way.
Yeah. Think about it, talk about it, possibly share or teach it, and then try and practice it as much as you can. And for me, my biggest retreat has definitely been my relationship. Like that's been my practice ground. Like that's been my biggest teacher by far, And having my biggest losses were also like my biggest, huge, gigantic health loss completely shifted my whole life, my belief systems, my lifestyle, my ability to have fun and feel free. It's just like, it was a shocking enough loss. But that wasn't even as hard, I don't think, as I was unconscious then, like I wasn't really awake. So it was challenging in that way. But now I'm almost 40, I'm 39, whereas that happened when I was 20, but now I'm much more awake. So I'm getting different challenges for my further expansion. But since I started to awaken around 15 years ago, kind of, my relationship now, the current one, has been my biggest healing and my biggest test or challenge for the two of us, I'd say. Yeah, for me too. So, yeah. Let me get back to these points a little bit, shall I? I took a screenshot. So 1 is becoming our higher self in the flesh before we die. 2 is the simple guide to whether we're on the right track for this or not. Hopefully that's like made sense that
I think you did a good job with that one. I think you did a good job with number 2, brother, to giving us direction and feeling and following inner guidance. I think that's just one thing that I really got from what you said is it's really cross-referencing with inner guidance.
Yeah,
like with your inside. Like it's not something is right for you because so-and-so is doing it, or so-and-so said so, or John said so even.
Gandhi.
It's like, did it, first of all, when John said it, did it make your heart like skip a beat? Did it make your tummy like tickle a little bit?
Yeah.
You get a little squirrel go run up your spine.
That's it, John. That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
Because if you did, then that's the one you want to try.
Yeah. So like even
you
say the
word that inside, right?
So even if you say the words like "I hate you," it doesn't feel good. If you say "I love you," you're kind, you're beautiful, you're amazing, you're awesome, you're fun. Like lately, I've been saying to my children more like, "You're really creative. You're really like, I love you're really imaginative. Like I love your imagination." Like just, the way like children love to show you things, like, and I just want to support their self-esteem. And it's a true statement. Like they are so imaginative and creative, but so are the adults too. But it's lovely to nurture children, and it's lovely to nurture us like adults, because we're like just grown, sort of partially messed up children who are trying to find their way back to the spirit, back to our true spirit. We're innocent too, but children are beautifully innocent. I love them, all this sort of stuff.
Yes, brother.
So yeah, part 3 is actualizing higher vibrations of unconditional love and unconditional kindness. And that comes from And in my life, it's come from life lessons, my partnership, especially my current relationship. And so actualizing higher vibrations of unconditional love and unconditional kindness. And it's also then you have to check out non-aligned thinking, and you have to work on self-healing from past trauma. So yeah, you could hear me there, John. Yeah, I was able. You still hear me when I go off screen? Just look at my screenshot. Okay, cool. So yeah, for me, I've gone through all sorts of stuff like prolonged anxiety, and for the first 20 years of my life, fear, insecurity, feeling very sad and alone, feeling very raw and tender and vulnerable, not being like just feeling emotionally tied up, like, and even verbally tied up, like just sort of a wounded little animal or a wounded little kid, and then I went through the health loss, and I'm at the highest vibration easily that I've ever been, and it's come from putting in a lot of sort of like effort and hard work, so to speak, intention, with loving support and people like you, at my side to help me also, and some healers sometimes, so occasionally, not the most important thing, like we said in previous videos. Healers can help, and I kind of think they're awesome and kind of recommend them if you feel like it. But the be all and the crux of all of it is for us to intend, maybe set an intention or request or a prayer to the universe potentially, and to go working on it ourselves, think about it, talk about it, want it. So when we talk about healing and becoming more unconditionally loving on a higher vibration, and it's what we really want, I do believe that's what we're going to get. But so life will give us challenges potentially, because without the challenge and the hardship, like the uncomfortable zone, we're just going to stay the same in the same old comfortable zone, doing the same old comfortable thing, having the same old comfortable stuff. But we won't feel our best. We'll feel what we're used to, what we developed up to, in many ways. So I think that's why like certain challenges happen. So yeah, that's life lessons. We need to also like let go of past trauma, like I said in point number 3. And that kind of meshes a little bit with like point number 4, actually, to be honest, which is overcoming limiting blocks to our natural high vibe emotional well-being state. And that involves letting go of anything heavy and dense that holds us back or holds us down. So that includes doing shadow work or emotional work and emotional healing and looking at our triggers. It also entails looking at limiting beliefs and thoughts and working on our diet and lifestyle. That's a gigantic topic, and that's what I've been like super heavily involved in for the last 3.5 years, even more so probably the last like 2 years or 2.5 years or something along those lines, maybe 3, but I don't know how long. But it's been a lot for like, a while now in this relationship, so I had to just like stop blaming the world, stop blaming my partner, and start looking at myself. I had to say, you're not to blame anymore for my emotions. I am. Like, it's not I recognize people as a messenger, to be a mess ender, to end the mess of my past trauma. I view past trauma as like big splinters. When you pull a big splinter that's been lodged in us, like you pluck it out, it's really sore. We could have inflammation and tenderness on that area where we get big splinter pulled out of us, like a thorn. Like, that's what happens when we get triggered. So pain is rising. It's very uncomfortable sometimes. It tends to make us think non-aligned thoughts and speak non-aligned words that feel bad to everybody. And I've done that a lot. And now I've learned so much, and I practice it quite a lot now too, to be honest. I try speak the words that I know are true and aligned. And at the back of my mind, I also know these words help promote healing and connection too. And there's generally, when you're able to do this at a reasonably decent level, there isn't as many needs for boundaries, because you're not in a vulnerable position where people are able to make you feel bad anymore, because you realize you feeling bad comes from you, and you can change that to feeling good, or to feeling okay. Now, I'm not promoting stay in a very abusive relationship where your power is already being taken away and you just don't have the ability or the power. And it's maybe pointless potentially if you're with somebody who's very, very unwell and you're vulnerable and you need to get loving supportive space. Yeah. So that's kind of the exception. But for the most part, most people can definitely, truly use their relationship as a massive healing retreat and healing ground and do all the inner work that they need to be the happiest they've ever been in their entire life. Because usually what will happen is, as you do the inner work and change, you'll become extremely different one little step at a time. It's not like a one day to the next, like total shifting, like John said. But as you change little by little, your partner will be blown away or at least surprised, or it'll rub off on them. Whether or not you try and say to them, hey, check out what I've discovered, like, you know, obviously you're going to say some words, you're going to speak what you're practicing about to your partner. Hey, I'm working on this, I've learned this, I'm trying to be this way, nicer to you, etc. So it can rub off and you'll probably end up still being together most likely. So you don't need, basically speaking, like I made a really lovely video yesterday, actually, to be honest. I loved it so much. Was it yesterday, the day before? I think it was yesterday. I just made a video in the car because I was looking for a new home. We have to like leave in a while, you know, so our lease is up. And I just like, I don't know, an eagle flew in front of the car. It was an eagle or a falcon or a bird of prey or some kind of like lovely bird, like just started flying. I was in like a really natural area up in the mountain kind of, and a beautiful bird just like right in front of me, like where I could see it, like just perfect speed, same as this car. And I was like, wow. I tried to get a picture, but it was gone by the time I got the picture ready. I didn't even get it ready. And I just made a video then, and it's just like I just said in the video, you don't need a house, a perfect home or the perfect house to be happy. Happiness doesn't come from having the perfect house. Happiness doesn't come even from your relationship. Like it can be supported. All of these things can support your happiness and joy because you are the love, joy, light being. Remember, that's the most important thing you need to remember. It's the fundamental part of awakening. To realize we're not our thinking mind, we're not our emotions, we're not our body, we're divine love, light, joy, spirit, and being of source energy. And we have glorious like divine qualities and virtues right there within us, just to be there to be embodied and to practice. When we let go of the dense and we do the work, the inner work, the shadow work, the healing, and we start thinking in alignment, etc. So I said, it's not our house that brings us joy. It's not our relationship or our partner. We don't need a relationship with a partner. We don't need that. We can have it and it'll help us to get to where we want to go, which to be our divine self in the flesh. It's not like great health that brings us joy. It's not like it's not any of this stuff. It's not material possessions. It's not being rich. It's not being really good looking. It's not like that. It's not like being all muscular or being really slim, if that's what you want. It's none of that. And so many things have been taught to us and it's accumulated in what you could call our ego. We are what we're looking for. It comes from within. And it might sound cliche, I don't really know. But the truth is, I've realized this now so much more from what I've already shared with you in this video to a certain degree. Even the whole in alignment stuff will get you so far. Are you feeling good or bad from what you're thinking or saying or doing? So it'll modify every day. Modify the thought, switch it a little bit. Instead of saying I hate you, you can say I don't like what you're doing, or you can think that thought. You know, modify a little bit, move it up to scale. Everything's about levels. Wisdom is about levels. Love is about levels. There's different levels of kindness. There's different levels of health. There's different levels of vitality. There's different levels of physical fitness. Even the spiritual stuff is about levels. Happiness and joy are about levels too. And feeling spontaneous to a certain degree, it's kind of about levels. That's so yeah, if you can just switch, like here's an example. I hate you, I hate myself, or whatever. I don't like what I'm currently, I hate what I'm doing right now, I hate what you're doing right now. This could be a thought or even could be a word, you can improve a sentence, you could improve if you verbalize it. I don't like what you're doing, but I can see you're doing it for a reason. I don't like what you're doing and I don't know the reason you're doing it, but I'm willing to find out the reason. You know, these are self-talk or words we could be speaking. I hate or don't like what you're doing, but could you please like share with me the reason, because I know there's probably a good reason why you're doing it. No, I'm just going to levels. Yeah, it's feeling a little bit softer and better each time.
Brother, you're brilliant, brother. You're brilliant.
Well, I thank Abraham and other people for teaching me. You know, like, well, yeah, I'm blessed to.
Brilliant practice, brother. It's a wonderful vocabulary practice. It's a wonderful skill set to be practicing. It's going to keep pulling you forward. You're going to keep going forward with it. I love to hear about it. I love to hear your words. I love to hear how you move forward from one thought to the next.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Thanks, John. Yeah, this stuff is like really nitty gritty. I'm just taking off my socks and shoes. I love to be barefoot, and I've been doing so much barefoot lately. Yeah, getting back. Yeah. I love to know the reason. Like, I don't like the way I've been behaving. So you've moved from like a to be verb, I hate you, or you are like I hate myself, or like I am an asshole, or you are a horrible person. You're changing the I am to be verb, or the you are to be verb. You're changing to a behavior. I don't like you, how you're behaving, or how I'm behaving. Then instead of just like sort of quitting at that, you're saying, I'm willing to find out the reason, or like maybe you could share with me the reason, or what is the reason why I'm doing this? You know, so you're switching it up to gears, and then you're saying, you know what, even though you were, let's say, being in a way that I felt hurt or triggered by, and it brought up a wound within me. Wow. I realized that, for example, with my child, I realized that actually you're just caring for your mommy. You're a very caring boy. You're a very caring person. You're very protective. You're loyal. I love these qualities. They're awesome.
Those are wonderful qualities, brother.
Yeah. And then you could say, I'm tender sometimes, like I'm in the process of healing. I'm sometimes triggered. That doesn't mean I am or you are. Imagine that this is harder with somebody else. You did something I didn't like. Okay, you're sensitive sometimes. You're emotionally tender, just like me. If you can make us the same, it helps. Just like me, I'm the same as you. Sometimes I'm triggered. Sometimes I say things that don't feel good to you. Sometimes I blame you, just like you're blaming me now, for example. You know, I'm just throwing it all out there. You know, these could be words or thoughts we think or say either to ourselves or another person.
To have. This is a very good friend to have. You have a friend like this, you know, this is going to make your life better. This is the type of guy you want to have around you, you know.
You're so sweet, John. Honestly, like I'm not just sort of trying to follow a rhythm here, but you really are very sweet, very sweethearted man, and love you. Appreciate you as well. Yeah, we all make mistakes, you know, like you just see it, there's kind of like a change in the atmosphere, like from the beginning till now, you know. Some people call this, like, I can't remember, there's so many different words out there, you know, for different descriptions of the same thing. Some people call this I can't remember, like working yourself out, or like self-soothing, you know, helping yourself, self-soothing, self-work kind of stuff. I can't think of the exact thing, but yeah, all of those things. So you could say then, you know, let's work on it together, or say, yeah, I hope I get the gist. Like, you're kind, you're caring, you're gentle. I'm tender. We're all emotionally tender. Let's try and help each other heal. Like, I'll listen to you more, you listen to me more. I want to listen with my heart towards me.
Well, people need to speak to you about this. Men need to know how to speak to women this way. This is a valuable, very valuable thing that you can sell to support men.
Yeah, man.
This is a men's coaching tool and system, a skill set that you have, that you can sell, passionately.
I will, John. It's going to be in my books. It'll be in my books.
That's wonderful. Beautiful.
Thanks for the reminder to take some deep breaths. It's helping me.
Good.
You're helpful. You're helping me, you know, you're helping me too, John. Good. So yeah, it will be in my books, and it will be in my video courses, and they'll be out in the next few months, you know, little by little. So yeah, it is something I'm passionate about. Like usually when I'm not passionate about something, I won't market or try and sell it much. Like I have 2 books out along like 5 years, but I never market. They're just not fully vibing with me. Like they're nice and they're pleasant, but they don't hit the tone of excitement for me, you know. But these new things, I'll be very excited to share, sell, promote, suggest, or even give free.
This is a real good one. Like, let's talk about the market. You know, this marketing is this. I think that just makes me go a little bit like this, a little bit. You know, it has to be something that really is like vibrationally right.
Yeah.
And it can't be something like marketing is always about how many people did you speak to? How many people did you book? How many people did you close? What percentage did you get? What's your show? What, you know, like numbers, right? Like we're
Yeah.
about numbers. No, we're about feelings. We're about feelings, and it has to be about feeling. And if it's something that you feel inside of yourself and you have developed a skill, a passion and a skill that is masterful, and you're able to teach it with skill, that, you know, men need it. Men need to hear about it. And if you can be supporting men that way with something that you love, then this is what marketing is. Marketing is being your very best energy.
Yeah.
Marketing is being your very best energy, speaking about it, talking about it. And as you do it, you embody it, you become it. You're meditating on those thoughts and those words while you breathe right now. You're breathing with this type of dialogue. You're thinking about this practice. You're presenting, you're teaching. This is how you practice. This is the practice. You're defining your skill set right now.
Yeah. And this applies like absolutely for even children or like teenagers and women. Like becoming our true self is universal.
I'm sorry that I turned that into a masculine thing at all.
No, it's all right. And that is a really good example of powerful words. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Maybe if you feel like it, please forgive me. You've heard of Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. These can be very, very healing words after hurtful encounter or argument with your loved one or another person. Even just, I'm sorry, like anything you want to say, you know, anything that feels good from your heart, that you're feeling true in the moment of. Letting go of the heaviness is essential. It's all about letting go of what holds us down or what holds us back. And it's about when you do that, you feel better and you feel good, and eventually you feel awesome or great. Great before awesome. Being a little bit mathematical here. Nah, you get me. And I loved what you said. It's not about numbers. Like I used to like be about numbers. It's hard to like, it's one of the things to let go of. Like I've had a YouTube channel for like a long time.
You know, it's people worrying about weight, people worrying about the money in the bank account, and we're losing track of the feeling. And this is the marketing. It's always pushing to the outside. It's to the protein grams. It's to the numbers of something you need to get. And then if you eat this many things and do this many repetitions and do this many workouts, then you're going to go on the scale and you're going to get a good number. And then you'll be good because you'll fit in a smaller pair of jeans, a size 8 or a 6 or a 4. Right?
And then you always want more.
Right. And then there's not enough money in the bank account for you to buy the jeans that you need. Right. So this is when we get focused on the number. It's because we've lost track of the truth.
Yeah. And the most important thing
of the energy. And this is what happens with marketing. Like, how many people did you get in to see you this week? That's how I'm supposed to determine if I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah. Love you, John. You're awesome. And you're worthy.
What you tell me right now. You know what? You know what? Just forget it. Just forget it. My marketing has got to go from within myself.
Yeah.
My marketing has to be what I am. That's all my marketing can be. It can't be this 12-week course or this that's going to solve everything that you need to get in 12 weeks. Because this is what people need to hear. Well, those people are not for me. They're not ready to hear what I have to hear, because what I have to hear requires a conversation, requires a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same, John. Like, it's not about like, I'm not trying to twist anyone's arm into buying anything of mine. It's not about like, oh, I sold this much and then like trying to like show other people the screenshot of my bank account. I'm not about that. Like, I love money. I love richness, prosperity, abundance, and fortune of every way. But the most important fortune for me is definitely emotional well-being by far. And that obviously correlates and is tied into mental. It's tied into what we were talking about all this whole time. We have, what I hear you say a lot is we let ourselves define our own success, not like somebody out there. We have to define what's successful for us. We need to be the judge of, are we being successful or not? And you could split it up to like, we could judge from our ego or from our true self, okay, whatever way you want to call our divine self. And for me, my standard of success is basically emotional well-being, freedom, wellness, and lightness. Emotional well-being, emotional lightness, emotional freedom, lightness, love, awesomeness, lightness, joy. We got to remember, I'll say it again, we are divine love, light, joy beings of incredible creativity, imagination, fun-loving, like jubilance, joyfulness, jolliness, like appreciative. We're just incredible, and other people are too. And when we remember this thing, which is probably like, for me, it's the biggest part, revelation, or the biggest thing that I've ever probably learned in my life, because it seems so powerful. Like, it really does. It's so impactful for me. Then I know who other people are. I know what plants are. I know what animals are. And when other people act like in a way you could call bad, like for me, I just, these days, I warrant so much like compassion. Like I have so much more compassion now, like people act sort of bad. I'm just feeling love for them. So it takes a lot of inner work, looking at yourself. For me, I had to take responsibility for my own emotions and my own thoughts, my own behavior, instead of saying you did it. Take responsibility and be accountable for myself instead of blaming on other people. You made me do this. You made me do this because you did that. You deserve it. Not that's like, that doesn't feel good. Because I know it's not. I know it's not right mentally, but I know it doesn't feel right or good to say I hit you because you hit me first and you deserve it. That's a feel good. No. It's not one of those thoughts we want to be shooting for if we want to shoot for being our higher self, the flesh. So these days, when people act a certain way that, you know, another person could get furious or very judgmental or critical or angry at, I'm like, wow, I just feel so much more love in my heart. It's crazy. And I think it's because like I've made some little like sort of steps along the path, like I said, levels from being in some pretty deep challenges in the last this year, like not too far away, kind of. It was a troublesome, challenging challenge, but it was a great opportunity for a greater expansion. And whoa. So yeah, unconditional joy, unconditional love, and unconditional kindness. God, source, the universe, and us as source energy beings, this is my wooden comb. God, or source, the universe, that doesn't just be kind with the expectation for anything in return. And don't forget, we are the sun. In my opinion, like we're like the sun, like we are divine lights. We're love. So when I'm kind these days, or if I message anyone, generally there's like no expectation on something back, you know.
That's a wonderful.
I don't like expect.
Wonderful.
Yeah, you go, John. Yeah.
It's a wonderful practice to be practicing this, and that's the thing. Like it's to understand that it's to that this man practices this as a daily thing. Like
Yeah, I do.
that's how he lives his life, by giving, when he's trying to practice giving something to someone, then not needing anything back. That's a practice that we don't normally do. Most people don't normally do this, and no, most people haven't done that for any serious period of time before, and seen what actually happens to your energy when you actually live that way.
Yeah. And the only reason why I'm able to do that much more than I used to be, okay, is because I did something called what you call shadow work or emotional healing, or you call it, this is one of my favorites, okay, emotional feeling. It rhymes with healing. Because here's an example, okay, let me make this really practical, okay, with a little bit of like sort of knowledge. Let's say I messaged my friend, or let's say I messaged somebody who I was dating. Let's say I'm single, or let's say I messaged somebody, okay, and I really want them to message me back. So I know then they don't message me back in, let's say, an hour, half an hour, a day, 2 days, even whatever, the nighttime. So here's what happens, okay? I start feeling this like bad feeling in my body. It's called an emotion. I feel like tense, sad, upset, maybe even like scared that I've just blown my chance. And so you know what happens, okay? What we do when we don't know is we unconsciously think they're making me feel bad. They're making me feel really upset. They're making me feel all like anxious and like tense, and I'm upset and I'm preoccupied in my mind. And then I can't really I don't feel happy. I'm like, I can't enjoy my day or my evening because they're in my head, and I can't get out of this feeling in my body. And I'm just thinking, do they like me? Do they not like me? Like, why aren't they replying to me? Like, they should reply. I've been really kind to them. Like, why aren't they being kind to me? So here's the thing that's really important. We have to realize this is essential, okay? This is a breakthrough for me, and it will be a breakthrough for you. We have to realize they are not responsible for our emotions. What has happened is the emotion, first of all, it's in my body, it's in me. It's my emotion and it's my body, and the emotion that's mine is in me, in my body. It's mine, it's not theirs. They didn't send it to me by a catapult or a slingshot or something. They didn't send it by the phone. They didn't send it. It came from us. It's ours. It's not their emotion. It's my emotion. So they didn't do it. I did it, kind of, so to speak. Like, what happened is, and this is called a trigger, okay? They were the messenger. And it's a nice little phrase, the mess ender, to end the mess within us. And what we're calling the mess in this rhyming little phrase, they're trying to, like, they're bringing up an emotion in us. Like I said earlier, the emotion has come. It's like a big splinter, emotional detox. When we aren't aware or knowledgeable or conscious of what this is, what we do is we unconsciously react and create like this conflict, okay, or an upset between everybody, an argument or criticism, etc. All that type of stuff. Nothing is healed then. We heal the feeling by feeling the feeling and recognizing it's ours. We take responsibility and we don't blame the other person or wrong them. We don't wrong them and blame them at the same time, okay? So we don't say, you're so bad and wrong for doing that. Like, you should know better. Like, why didn't you do this? With an intense energy and anger and all that stuff. So what I do is I talk less, I react less as much as I can, and I just try and I just try and feel my feelings quietly. Like, I try and, if I can, go within and take space, or I just like, for example, I just try and shut up and be quiet, zip my mouth, put some tape around it. Might be helpful sometimes. I literally can't say anything. Okay, I don't really do that, but that's just a joke. So I try not to, like, make things worse by reacting. Mm-hmm. And I acknowledge deeply, this is like almost like a meditation. I try and deeply acknowledge they're not at fault or to blame. Yeah, this takes some practice because we've been
Yes,
led
it's a
all of our
quick
entire life.
identification for you to be able to do that. So, and this is the thing, right? Everything is always the person has to be ready to receive, right? Like it depends where everybody is,
Okay.
whether or not they're ready to receive, or if they are open to want to.
Yeah,
Right?
like
They
we're
have to,
free, and
they have to be
we'll all. It's all up to us. Like it's like what John said at the beginning. I loved his introduction deeply. I loved your introduction, John. It's up to us. There's no right or wrong. Like
Mhm.
you don't have to do anything. No, I'm not saying anyone should do this or they need to or they
No,
got it.
no, we can't say anyone should do this. All we can do is just demonstrate this and talk about these things and
Yeah,
share these ideas. And if people are inspired by these ideas, then they take something away. They
big
hear
time.
something they like and they take something away. All you can do is talk about these things, is have dialogue about these things, is breathe together and talk about different things than what normal people talk about. Because
Yeah, just my normal like type of conversation. Like I don't always talk about this. Obviously, like I talk about everything else too, kind of. But I don't.
you can't have a dialogue about spiritual matters, energy matters, feeling matters. You can't have a dialogue about those things. You can have a space that you're allowed to talk about those things.
Yeah, like I have a
Why
few
not?
friends.
Why can't we?
Yeah, just real talk. Real talk. It's like the
Real
real
talk.
important stuff.
I don't understand.
Yeah, like it's people will talk about who won the football game or the soccer game, but they just don't have the understanding right now in their life. But this type of talk is extremely beneficial and productive and leads to a happier earth, a happier life, and a happier wife, happier children, happier next generation. It's important, it's real, and it's kind of essential to get the gist of this and to learn as much as you can, kind of as much as or as whenever you feel like it, just to gradually make small steps, like every month, that type of thing, or every week, or that type of stuff, little by little.
It's a mindset practice. This is a thought and word practice. This is an
Yeah,
emotional healing practice. It's a movement.
it is.
Food change. It's a nutrition change. It's a movement change. It's an energetic change. It's an outdoors. It's a nature. It's a grounding. It's a communication. Look at all of these aspects of what it is to bring it together to make that daily routine, that lifestyle. That's what makes my life different. It's having a lifestyle that's
Yeah,
different dialogue and communication and relationships in it, a community, a dialogue, other people to talk to about it that I identify with.
yeah. I'm glad you said that. Like, I didn't want to get like sort of too technical or deep, so to speak. Like, it's a holistic matter, like body, mind, spirit. Like, being in nature, seeing friends. We have different needs. Like, we have social needs, creative needs. We have a need. Like, we have mental needs. I have a need to learn, a need to share or teach or help or to be of service to the community. Like you, we all have these various needs. We have a need to express ourselves. Sometimes you have a need for quietness. Sometimes you have a need for stillness. Sometimes you have a need for activity or like not quietness, like just doing a whole lot of stuff and being active and being out there and being involved. We have many different needs. Need to eat, sleep, rest. We have sunshine, air, the earth, maybe water sometimes, just Mother Nature. Having friends, like social and relational needs, is a huge thing. It's important to feel plugged in and connected. It's essential. They say the number one reason, like Gabor Mate says, the number one reason people become drug addicts is because they feel disconnected. And it's very, yeah, no one wants to feel alone. Like, it's extremely sad. So it's important to develop compassion and understanding of why people like act in a way we typically call not nice. Compassion, there's a quotation, I probably said it to you the last time, John. When compassion is stronger than our ego, harmony is the result. And it feels wonderful to have inner peace and harmony. Like, I'm obviously still learning, but I have more peace and harmony than I've ever had. And it's related to everything I said. And Yeah, it's just like so important. Like, it's up to us. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, there's no real like success or failure or right and wrong, like we all get to choose what we want to do. And sometimes like big soulful events like that may be predestined while we're still in the spirit world before the body, like what's it called? Like soul agreements and like, life contracts and stuff. So sometimes it's just going to be catapulted into kind of what some people call awakening just through sheer loss or suffering. But anyway, it's nice to talk about this type of stuff. And one of my biggest joys in life is having good like friends who I love and resonate with and vibe with. They vibe with me and I vibe with them. Yeah, that's a huge happiness of mine and my family and nature. So whenever you want, I can get back to the point of being a bit like the technical process, the process that I go through, but you're welcome to say everything as well.
Brother, if you want to continue with your process, and then maybe we'll open up our conversation a little bit to ask if there's any comments.
Yeah.
Or any, I'd love to get some comments if we can get any comments from people today. See if anyone has something to say.
Take a breath.
Yeah. Take a breath. We're talking about what is it that helps people change their lives? What do people need to change their lives? What do people need to know to change their lives? What do people need to hear to change their lives? What things have changed your life? So it's just sharing what experiences we've had, what we've learned, what food maybe changes. We haven't really talked much about that. I don't know. I don't want to lead you. I don't want to condense you. We have 30 minutes left today. And I want to make sure that I do allow other people to comment as well too, if they want to. And if not, then we will just go completely through. It doesn't matter, brother, at all.
Yeah. So if we could finish the reasons, is it okay if I finish the essential part?
Please, brother, please go again.
So we feel bad. We blame the other person. That's like sort of a biggest thing to learn. That's not the biggest truth of the matter. The emotion comes from us, not from them. They're the messenger to end our mess. What is our mess but the big splinter that we could potentially emotionally detox or let go of? And what is that big emotional, like, what is that like big splinter or emotional thing but past trauma? Okay, it's past sadness, suffering, hurt, pain, loss, grief, unprocessed, unfelt, unreleased, not being aware of it. Okay,
no one's got time to do it. No one's got time. I haven't got time for that. And I haven't got time to feel shit today.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a tough one. Like I understand. Like
I know. But then the shit piles up, and then all of a sudden,
yeah.
A shit storm, right?
Even like
everything breaks off, right? And then now you have to deal with the shit because everything's broken.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I feel the same way, John. Like sometimes like I'm slow to finish my books, and part of it's because I'm so busy, going through all the other stuff in my life, my family, and all the backlog. Mm-hmm. And I could finish these if I made it urgent. Like if we really were like needed the money, like need the money, I'm gonna do this. Like in the past, sometimes when I felt like I need to do this, like I do it, but like it's not like a pressing urgent matter. But like spiritually, I've never been as excited and like bubbling blissful to finish this project because I'm so exuberant about it, So yeah, I'm just waiting. But just kind of being jokey there, yeah. But so yeah, the messenger, it's our emotion. We want to blame and wrong someone else unconsciously, but what can we do? We're going to hopefully let go and heal. And this is about unconditional kindness and unconditional love and all the high vibrations of that point, So we heal, okay? We want to heal this past hurt, this sadness, the suffering, the wound, the emotional pain we went through as a child, or even in the past as an adult, okay? So I gave the example. So we message someone, they don't reply back. We're really upset. We can't enjoy our life. We're preoccupied. We feel shitty. So what do? We start eating. We order a pizza. We maybe like we masturbate, or we take drugs, or we start working overtime and work so we can't think about it. We start doing everything or anything we can to try and distract us from our emotion, because we just don't want to feel bad. And I have compassion and empathy because I don't want to feel like physically bad. And sometimes I'm like, oh no, like I'm physically detoxing too much. I don't feel good. And then I have to slow it down big time by eating something quite heavier, because I actually have I have too much, I have too much children to look after. I got responsibilities is what I was trying to say. I got things I got to do. I can't be in a cranky-ishy type of not like sort of going with the happy flow of the kids. Like I can't be just like so yeah, I have the utmost sincere compassion and empathy towards someone who finds emotionally feeling or healing or detoxing as hard too, but as I've emotionally matured and grown, I'm much better now, kind of, so to speak. I'm way better now at emotionally feeling and clearing than I used to be. And because I've done a lot of it with a lot of passion and interest, and I want to do this is why I'm feeling so good in life. It's not, I don't think it's because of things are going fairly smooth in certain ways. I honestly don't think that. I think I've had a cushier life, and I didn't feel half as good. I'm busy, I have responsibilities, I got things to do, I have projects, I have a certain degree of pressure, but I'm feeling overall the best I've ever felt easily. So much more love and joy and peace and compassion and emotional stability. Just high vibes, not all the time, but much more than before. So it's all about the little improvements. I didn't just get here in a day, it's taken years,
It's about the habit, it's about the practice that you're developing, it's about the way you're speaking, it's about the things that you're doing. You can be certain of it, brother. It is
yeah.
Yes.
Thanks, John.
Doing
love you, bro.
They're certain.
Yeah. Love you, man. Love you a lot too, bro. You're brilliant. I love being with you. You're a great friend, and I love it if you're living nearby. It'd be amazing. Go out to the beach together, have some fun. Mingle with the families. Yeah.
Bring the families. That would be great.
So yeah, to finish the point finally, because I know I've been almost getting there. I take responsibility, but yeah, why I feel so sad and upset because someone didn't reply to me, is because I suffered emotional abandonment or rejection when I was a child, most likely, or it could have been my first girlfriend, even if I was a teenager or adult. They let me down. They blew my hopes, dreams, and wishes. I loved them, but they didn't love me back the way I hoped, dreamed of, or wanted. They let me down. They abandoned me emotionally. I felt my heart was wide open, or I was a vulnerable child. My heart was open even as a child, or towards my first girlfriend or partner. And they just ditched me. They maybe lied to me, or maybe if it's a parent, it would be related to I was crying and really sad or having a tantrum, as children do. It's part of their development. And they yelled at me. They put me in a room to be alone. I cried myself to sleep. There's so many different ways we can, we can be emotionally abandoned. And that just means is in our little time or our hour of need, when we feel sad or vulnerable, weak, tender, raw, scared, frightened, sad, there wasn't somebody to cuddle us, to cradle us, to love us, to support us, to hold our hand, to give us a hug. Instead, they may have even pushed us away more. And that's a deep wounds we suffer when we're young. So just remember, this is the splinter that's rising. This is the wound that's coming. The messenger is your teacher. If you want a teacher, look at how your partner is bringing up emotions in you. Or it could be your child or your parent. But really, everyone and everything is your teacher as well. But it's particularly your teaching or healing retreat in your typically usually your relationship or your closest relationship. It could be, a parent or a child too. Or it could even sometimes be the person you work really close to, but it's usually your partner or someone really close that you maybe have some history with, typically, So important. So what I do these days is I say, okay, this emotion is mine. When did I feel this in the past? When did I feel let down or really sad, emotionally rejected or abandoned in my desperate hour of need? And I look, when did I first feel similar feelings, or when was there a similar circumstance? And I've traced it. It's not too hard, actually, in a way. There's probably some things you can recall in your life where, for me, it was my dad. He acted like a bully, and some people say he acted like a narcissist. I don't want to say he was to be there, because that's not who he truly is at all, and I know that very well. He's passed on now 5 years, but he was giving, like, two of my brother and my sisters were getting like stutters from living in such like fear and anxiety, and I've even blocked out the first 8 years of my life almost like extensively, like almost fully. But I know very well from my only 3 memories of my dad, which I was either scared of him or running from him or hiding from him. I was scared of him. And I know from the stories of other people in my family that he acted in a way that, like, he was the beginning of my trauma where I had anxiety. And then after the first 8 years, when the family split in two, yeah, then I had other like anxiety, but it was kind of like largely related to the trauma related to my dad, you know? So I had a lot of anxiety up to the age of 20, or even like, yeah, especially up to the age of 20. So there's an example, my friends, and I'm only telling you so you can get an example. When I have another trigger, a wound, is when I feel really upset, like really, really upset. Okay, very triggered with my partner in the past. Okay, we have big arguments, like really big, huge, bloody arguments and blow-ups. Okay, when she knew I was super upset, I wanted her like to come to me and to love me the way, you know, if she was connected to her higher self, she would, but she wasn't able to do that. And I wasn't able to do that for her. But I wanted this, like I wanted to be loved the way I wanted to be loved and cared for. So in my hour of desperate emotional tenderness and vulnerability and need, no one hugged me, but instead and I did the same to her. We even lashed out at each other verbally. And this is like a double trigger for me. Because when I feel, my dad always did this to me, you know, I can't really remember my dad doing it. Maybe my mum did a tiny bit, but not really. It's my dad, okay? When I felt really super sad and upset, and he knew it, he didn't come and love me or hug me or cradle me or say, I love you, Owen, come to me, like, I'm sorry, like, I made a mistake. You're amazing. It wasn't your fault. Like, come to me and let me make up to you. He didn't say any of that, okay? Because he didn't know how. Like, it's not his fault. I'm not blaming him, okay?
Yeah, exactly. Not blaming.
So when my partner, who was a beautiful messenger and teacher, when she'd like emotionally abandoned me, like after all of these feelings were already coming up, like the triggers, the upset of an argument. So that was like a double trigger. Like, you know, I'm upset, but you're not doing anything about it. In fact, you're making it even much worse. You're emotionally abandoning me even more now. So that would be like another like, oh no, I just want to like cry or like shout or burst into tears or like punch something or something along those lines, you know, that type of stuff. It's okay. I don't mind that you're kind of giggling or laughing, John. I know you're probably just thinking like, I know this very well. I've been there. It's okay. It's okay. So thankfully now I have to tell you, these things don't really trigger me anymore. You know, like I've felt the grief and I've stopped blaming my partner, and I've realized it's mine to own and to feel and take responsibility for. Just feel it and not blame the other person. That is healing in itself. And if you can think in a bit more in alignment, like a bit more softer thoughts, it's incredible. So yeah, it's a practice. And every time you get upset, that is your little flag to say, look within, speak less, feel more. And maybe where did this type of feeling or situation first happen in your life? And no, it's not the other person who's doing it, but they're just bringing it up in you. That's all. They're a messenger or a triggerer. That's all.
Yes. It's really something inside of you, that's something that's happened to you that's making you feel that way. And it's to tune into ourself, right? This is the thing, to tune into ourself, to tune out the outside noise and tune back into the self, and to recognize that the answer is inside of the self, and to stop blaming the conservatives or the liberals or the Democrats or the Republicans. It's not going to be the Black Lives Matter or the All Lives Matter. It's the solution is not something you need to get. The solution is something that we all need to do collectively together, which is come together and tune into the power within the self. The power up the singularity. It's to power up the human society. it's to be powered again. Humans. It's for humans to be powered again, to take back their sovereign power.
Yeah.
To control their feeling.
Basically, yeah.
To learn how to control their own feeling. Right? It's not new. It's always been here. It's just always been hidden. Because unfortunately, they're obviously, greed has taken control of things. But greed has forgotten who its creator is. Because greed has been created by the light. And when we come to the light, the flowers grow through the concrete.
Yeah.
The light finds a way through that subjugation and control, that the light can go through and penetrate anything like that. And the way that does it is it first has to come to peace with that greed. It's to feel that negative energy, to bring the light into it with knowledge that the light that's inside of you, that if you meet that darkness with the greatest light that is inside, that every darkness will be destroyed by your heart, by your feeling, by your light. If you just have to meet whatever it is with your light. This is the creative force. Like greed was created by the light. There is nothing to stop. Consciousness doesn't need anything. There is nothing to stop it. It's an energy. We have to stop the idea, the illusion that it could be stopped. That's a scary idea that's been put into us. That we can be stomped out. Scary idea that has been put into us. You cannot turn out the light. It is always a light. There's always light. And it can be reached inside the solar plexus, the light inside of your being. You can come into it. And even in the darkest thing that you've got, the most deepest feeling that you've got, the worst thing that's inside of you, you can sit in it and you can feel it, and you can just trust and know that the light will accept it and forgive it and love it and let it go. Just allow it into the light, into the heart. Let it come into the heart. Let it flow through the body. Just let it come through the body. Invite it up. Don't be afraid of it. It's okay. Come on. Breathe with that. Just talk to it. Just have a different relationship with yourself. Change your relationship with yourself. Brother, I was just like, I loved our talk today.
Big time.
I'm wondering if we've been the greedy men, like greedy men always are. but are the lovely ladies, would they like to share? Could we encourage them to comment?
Yeah. Anyone have any questions or
Could
comments,
we
please?
encourage comment? Could we encourage comment?
Yeah.
Not
Welcome.
not forcing, just encouraging.
We're forcing. We're twisting his arms. I loved what you said there, John. And like, we truly have the power to change our life and our relationships. And like, who doesn't like being loved? Who doesn't like being cared for? Who doesn't like feeling respected? You know, it's usually when we have inner resistance towards somebody, which is basically like the non-aligned thought I kind of described earlier. We can feel there is the resistance of a non-aligned thought. It doesn't feel good. It feels a certain degree of tension. That inner resistance we have against something unwanted, we can feel it. And it's all we need to do is feel it and gradually think, like kind of the way I described earlier, to think our way through it, to be more in alignment and to feel better about it. And it's not a fakery. It's not like a pretendery. It's not a spiritual bypassing or trying to escape an emotion. It's nothing like that. It's just steering our ship in the direction of spirit, or, you know, and it's we are there, like we are the spirit. So it's just getting back into correlation or alignment with who we really are. It takes a little bit of practice for sure, coupled with the holistic practices, the body, lifestyle, everything else, you know. But everyone loves to be cared for, loved, respected, appreciated. Like, even someone who's your enemy will change if you're going to be consistent with caring for them. They like, we're energetical beings. Like, we have an aura, we have chakras. They're going to feel the absence of your animosity and the absence of your resistance, and they will feel the presence of your genuine care. It's so powerful. It really is. So it extends far beyond just our immediate relationship, but it goes to everything and everybody. And the one other thing I didn't mention, which is so powerful, is just basically feeling happy or grateful and appreciative of anything in your life. Like, that's a massive thing that brings more joy and happiness as well. Yeah, I know you're the master at that. I love what you share, John. I do. I really like it. You share so much every day. It's like really cool stuff, and it's great, good reminders for me too. So you share a lot, like good stuff, really good stuff.
Just being present. That's all. That's my practice. Just being present.
Yeah.
With whatever is present. Hello.
Hi. Yeah, Owen, John, thank you so much. So much for today. Very unexpected and last minute. And yeah, I've just been really moved and really touched by everything you've both shared today. And
that's great.
The reason I wanted to come on was around your videos that you've done, Owen, around loss and breakup. And yeah, so I really hear you, and around the shadow work, and around, you know, when we feel that resentment, to go back to a time, you know, with those triggers. And that's my sticky point. So when I forget myself, I come back into my heart, and I've been noticing so much kindness this last week, especially. But in the mornings, particularly, I'll wake up and I'll have that memory about something that my ex-partner said or did, and I'll go into resentment and find it quite hard to, you know, get myself out of that funk, really. Yeah, when I forget myself, I can come back into that heart-opening space. It's when I have those memories, I can find myself going down that rabbit hole again. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I understand you there, Tina. Yeah. So thanks for sharing. Appreciate you coming on video. That's awesome. Yeah, nice to connect with you. I've been there. I know exactly what you're talking about. So like, it's just a matter. It's kind of like, in a way, it's like practicing a habit. It's developing something new. It's making something more embodied, like more part of who we truly are, like more automatic, more normal, more more typical, like something that's more second nature to us. It just takes practice, you know. So just to let you know, you wouldn't feel bad unless you still had this emotion still in you from your past upset. So things can come up at unexpected times. Like it could be like someone who gives you a look on the street. Whoa, I suddenly just. So what happens is it brings up a memory. Now we can remember or know the memory that's been brought up, or we could be unconscious or not, like we don't know about it, like at the forefront of our mind. Okay. So I can't remember a lot of the memories of my dad. But we don't need to necessarily remember the memories to still do sort of the same feeling and accepting process. Okay. So, but what happens is you have some memories, and this is okay. It's good. So you feel upset or bad with the memories that, like certain particularly like upsetting memories, or like a letdown or disappointment, or you're mistreated, or like he said something and it didn't come out the way he promised, or like it could be all sorts of things. Okay. So this is just like more sort of like clearing and letting go of anything heavy or that holds you back or holds you down that's coming up. So something's come up. It's the same story as ever. Something has come up. That's what's happened. It doesn't matter if you thought you were through it, or you thought you'd felt it already, or you thought you'd forgiven them or let go. It doesn't matter. Like, so it's okay. Just be aware. It's a practice to be aware. Like John said, like breathing can help you to relax or to become more aware. But just become aware. Like take your time. If you're at home, like have a shower, have a bath, go for a walk, be with your puppy, or just sit in bed for an extra few minutes, feeling your emotions. Okay. So what I would do is, or what I'd kind of suggest is, feel my feeling and ask myself, can I be okay with this, with my feeling? Can I be okay with feeling uncomfortable emotionally for a while? So am I okay with feeling like crap or average or poorly? Is it okay? So if you don't want to, basically you kind of just want to get to the point of saying like, okay, it's kind of like not exactly my number one preference in life, but I know to get to the point where I don't feel this, I just got to process it and feel it for a while, and then it won't come up again really in the future, or it'll come up softer and like less intense and less often. So it can be a process of gradually diminishing and then fully gone. Because we do have like trapped or stuck emotions in the same way as we have trapped or stuck toxins, poisons, chemicals, drugs, or old food deposits, etc. Okay. So yeah, just be okay with the process and just look at your thoughts. So so we've done the emotional acceptance, or like I'm okay with feeling a bit crappy for a while, like it's cool. It's inconvenient and I don't really want it too much, but I kind of accept that it's all right. Like this is just the way it is. Just what can you do? Sometimes you just gotta get on with things, kind of like, you know, kind of, if you know what I'm saying. Basically making peace or accepting what you don't really prefer, you know. So then mentally, look at your thoughts you're thinking, and like if you have the thought like, oh no, I shouldn't be feeling this anymore because I already thought I did this already. That thought probably doesn't feel very good. It's kind of like along the lines of like, I'm making a mistake, or resistance, like, I shouldn't be like this. I don't accept the fact that it is like this. I'm just going to muster like tense resistance against the actual fact that my emotion is here, like, and I feel this way, or that I'm thinking this way. So when we can sort of like accept / let go of resistance, and we feel automatically better, even if we feel uncomfortable, we'll feel better with the discomfort. You get me? So then we get to the point of just aligning our thoughts with source or God or spirit. Like lately I've been sometimes saying like, what would God think about this? Like, it's kind of like saying, what would I think about this? Like, what would my true higher self think? Like, what would spirit or source think? What's its perspective on things? And that's the same way of saying, what's my deeper perspective on things? So the more we swing towards thinking along the perspective and the words we speak to ourselves about this situation or emotion or this past event, the more we switch to along the lines of compassion, forgiveness, understanding, that type of stuff. Usually compassion, like inner peace, and more, we'll get to the place of feeling more peace, or even wanting to be potentially kind. Like kindness might spring out of stuff like forgiveness and compassion, you know. But peace is the first thing before compassion. Before kindness, usually there's peace. So after compassion, there's peace. Compassion, peace, kindness. That's just, I kind of just made that up, you know, because it seems to be like the way it is for me typically. When I have compassion, peace and harmony tend to come up more. And when that's come up enough for long enough, maybe then I might be possibly inspired to be kind to somebody, you know, maybe myself, but often usually for me, it's like with somebody else. So first I have to go through this process really. Obviously, like I said earlier, not blaming or wronging the person, because every toddler and every adult make mistakes, and we're not here to try and like, God or our higher self isn't here to lash out at any mistake, even a big mistake, because it's like what Jesus said: forgive them for they don't know what we do. When we're unaligned, we do things that are unpleasant for ourselves and each other. It's not only for others, like it's definitely to ourselves, and you know that. So when we're more aligned, living like in alignment and happiness and peace and more love ability, we'll do things that are nice for everyone, including ourselves, but including others. So yeah, I hope that helps. Just to stick to the point. So check out your thoughts. Try and align your thoughts, soften your thoughts. One last thing I'll say for yourself, Tina, and anyone else is, I've learned from a teacher called Abraham that there's thoughts that are upstream and downstream. Upstream is like trying to go up against the current. It's difficult and challenging, and there's sort of resistance of the water. It's like arduous. We can think thoughts that are upstream and arduous and make us feel troubled, or we can think thoughts that are more like downstream. Like it's easier. We have a current behind us. It's in flow. They're the thoughts that feel better, and they're in the direction of our higher self. So always see if your current sentence or self-talk makes you feel worse or better, you know, tenser or less tense. And then go slowly and gradually, be experimental, pick out some various thoughts or new thoughts or that type of thoughts that make you feel relief from the feeling, and letting go of the tension and resistance. And then the love and the kindness and compassion will keep growing as well, the more you keep at that. And then then all of a sudden you're gonna like, the trigger won't be there anymore, and it'll be surprising. It'll be surprising when same things that used to trigger you don't trigger you anymore at all or as much.
That's real change. That's
it's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. Like same thing can happen over and over again for a while. Like especially in my relationship, like we seem to go around in circles for a while with the same things, until my biggest breakthrough is probably realizing, and my friend like Patchy is this wonderful person, like she helped me to really like sort of hammer it home to me that others aren't to blame for my emotions. Like stop blaming others and stop wronging them, and basically take responsibility for my emotions. But that's part of it, you know. Because sometimes we can like, fuck this person, I'm feeling bad again because of them. But yeah, just the whole thing there I just said, basically. You can do it. You're great and you're very intelligent. I know you're, and you're wise. But you can definitely do this. I know you can. You'll master it easily. Yeah, pleasure. I'm glad to see you smiling. Obviously that like hit home for you or resonated with you. Even the fact you seem happy or that resonated with you, it's just a sign of exactly what I'm saying. Like if something hits home and feels good and resonates with you, that's the right direction. That's who we truly are, you know? It's the exact same thing.
When one light shines, another light is inspired by the shine. When one light shares their voice, another light receives the voice. This is how it goes. This is how we grow. This is how we grow. This is how we go. Josie, I don't know if you're there or not, if you can hear us or not. If you were there, if you have a comment or. Maybe not, maybe not. And that's okay too. And that's wonderful. And that's wonderful. I think we had a wonderful day today.
We did.
I think we worked on a friendship today, brother. I appreciate you. You're my friend. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
for
too, John.
thank you for coming on and sharing with me and sharing some things that I asked you to talk about, like, and pull together and communicate and make into a presentation. I appreciate how challenging that can be and forcing you into doing that for for
Ah,
us today and presenting for us, and the pressure of that, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
yeah. I know that there wasn't really any pressure. Like, to be honest, like I didn't feel any pressure whatsoever, and I'm really glad you asked me to put a few points because you just got me thinking, like, and it's good to like try and get a system or like some bullet points, just a short period, so people can like get a quick but broad spectrum like view of it, like, but it's short and succinct. So I
Yeah.
wrote those 7 points. We probably covered like maybe 4 of them. Didn't, but we kind of obviously it's covered kind of all of them to a certain degree, except for probably life purpose and life paths. But that's not too important. It's more important what we covered today.
I'm sorry that we don't have a little bit more time to keep
No,
on.
no, it's cool. We both got to go, man. We have our families waiting for us. But I loved it today, John. And like you bring you as such a wonderful friend and such a great presenter. Like you definitely bring out the best in me. And I love the points. Thanks for helping me just to like write down some points. And yeah, I'm glad you're my friend and having other people on board as well, like, and the video and Tina and anybody else for sure. Yeah, I loved it. We'll do more in the future. And yeah, I put up your website. So like,
We'll do more in the future, brother. This is it. It's more of what? More of communicating, more of sharing life experience, more of being kind to each other, more of listening to each other, more of breathing together. Like
yeah,
this is what we're doing. We're being human, right? We're practicing human, right? We're practicing
definitely.
being our best human, right? This is what we're doing.
Yeah. And if anyone wants like any extra help or assistance, just like private messages or go through our websites. I think you're highendfitness.com, are you?
I'm changing my website to globalhealthandwellness.net to global health.
I like that. That's
you.
for me, it's like better. It resonates. Like that's really what you're about.
Thank
More,
you,
you know?
brother. Yeah, it was something that I've always been high end fitness, and I thought fitness. I feel like I'm grown from fitness, and it has to be more. It can't
He's
be about,
grown.
it
You've
can't be about
grown.
fitness. It can't be about fitness. It has to be
Yeah.
about wellness, right?
Yeah,
It has
yeah.
to be about love. So
Awesome, bro. Yeah, so I like that. And my one is just owenfox.org, OWENFOX.org. Or obviously I'm on like social media like YouTube, or like you can't contact me through YouTube too easy, but usually Facebook or email is the easiest. And I have a herb store, higherselfherbs.com, But I'm super excited with my books and video courses, and I love to promote you. I shared your page on my Facebook or like my promotions, and YouTube and Instagram. Actually, I shared as well. So love to promote you and share with you about you as well, John.
thank you, brother. Let's do more. Let's do more. Let's keep working together. Let's see what else we can do together, because if we're coming together and it makes us feel good and it helps us to move forward, and we're both learning from each other and we're both
Yeah.
growing, then why wouldn't we try to bring ourselves together?
Yeah, I know we're going to go in a second, so but you helped me by just simply asking me to put down some bullet points or some points like that. I feel that helped me, so I think like we do like help each other. We learn, we bring out some better things within each other, and glad to have you as a friend. And if anyone like sort of watching does want, if them or their family member or even a friend is in need, kind of, and if they kind of are open to or want some help from John or myself, just know we're here, and we're just here as a kind person who cares, who may be able to help. It don't have to. It's not needed. We're not asking you, like, we're not trying to make a sale or get a client or nothing like that. It could come in any form. But we could be potential of one of the forms the person could get helped. So just putting it out as a potential, just in case it like resonates and the person would love to as well, you know. So just saying, it's all about helping each other. That's all, you know. If they had more, like sometimes we need somebody like this kind of, sometimes, you know, some people sometimes I know I have, so that's all. That's the only reason I'm saying it. I still need like a loving, conscious, kind-hearted, like soft-hearted, like caring friend who knows stuff or can remind me of stuff, or, you know, or a healer sometimes I pay as well. So helping each other out.
Helping each other out. That's all. That's it.
Yeah. Thanks, John. Lots of
Thank
love,
you, guys.
everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here.
Love you.